We're live. Good morning, everybody. Well, it's morning for me. It's afternoon for Shirley. I'm Suki Jeffries from Courage Rises. I'm a life coach and I love what I do. I work with women at or nearing retirement age to see it and be it. So see themselves in a really vibrant, exciting life after retirement age. And be it, I can help push through all of the blocks that you may have to uh, actually realize the life that you want. And my plan is to get to the end of my life saying, I really have no regrets. I tried it all. I did what I wanted, on that kind of thing. And I can help you do the same. Now, Defying Expectations Over 60 is my weekly live stream program in which I talk to men and women over 60 years of age who are doing really interesting and exciting things with their lives. And today I'm talking with Dr. Shirley Ernst. And Shirley and I met each other a few weeks ago. I am a 20-year breast cancer survivor, and I was doing the 3-day walk for the Komen Foundation in San Diego. And Shirley and my husband, Mike, and I met each other at the bottom of a very big hill in San Diego. And we started plodding up to it, up the hill together. And we had a great conversation, and I thought you'd really enjoy meeting her. So, Shirley, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I'm 80 years old. I'm a
Woohoo!
26-year survivor, and that was my 27th walk.
Wow,
I
that's a lot.
started in 2009. And I didn't know anything about Komen at that point. I was a 13-year survivor at that. And my niece in San Diego sent me a request for money. And
Oh,
so I said, okay, I'll give you money, but I want you to walk next year so I can walk with you. And she did.
super.
And I did. And 27 walks later, I was in San Diego again.
Yeah.
She's not walking anymore, and I am. So it
So,
was quite a journey for me on that. Uh,
do you do the full 60 miles with every walk that you do?
I do. I do the full 60 miles. I think I have swept maybe 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Once in
Sweep.
Chicago
So
this year
sweep, for
because
those of you who don't know, sweep means you get picked up at one location and ferried in a van to the next location if you've got an issue like a blister or you're just overly tired or, a dehydrated, one of those things. Yeah.
it was really hot in Chicago,
Mhm.
and the pack I was wearing was hurting back in a place I had not had it hurt before.
Mm.
So I decided I had to go to my own advice, which I tell everybody: if you're hurting, sweep.
Yeah.
So I did. The only other time I swept was when I had to go to the bathroom so badly I didn't think I could make it to the pit stop.
Yes.
And
That happened to me one time. It's not comfortable.
it is not. So
Yeah.
the interesting thing that I did not know about Komen until a few years after I started walking is that she was from Peoria, Illinois, which is where I grew up.
Oh my
And she
gosh.
was actually at a different high school and maybe a year or so behind me. And many of my classmates knew her.
Oh,
I
wow.
just thought that was so
That's a crazy connection.
interesting. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
So those of you who don't know, you've heard of Susan G. Komen, but she passed away of breast cancer, I think, in the 70s. And her sister, Nancy G. So that's Nancy G. Brinker. That's how they're related. Is their maiden name was started with G. Um, she made a promise to her sister that she would do what she could to make sure that other women didn't suffer and die of this disease. So that's why we raise money now. I do it every 5 years. Shirley does it all the time. So if you've walked pretty much 60 miles over 27 walks, is that it?
yes.
So do you know how
Yes.
many miles that is?
I haven't added it up. I'm almost afraid to.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up here. So,
And that doesn't count the training
right.
walks when I am walking so that I am in decent shape to be able to do the walking.
Yes.
I go through 2 pairs of shoes every year.
Mhm.
If I'm going to do 5 walks next year, I might need to get extra shoes.
Right, for sure. So you have walked just in the walks alone, not the training walks, you've walked 1,620 miles
That's a
for
lot.
Susan G. Komen. That is a lot.
That is a
And
lot.
next year you're going to walk in 5 different walks. They added they used to have like 12, then they cut
They
it
had
down.
14 at one point,
That's
and then
it.
they dropped to 7, and then they
Mhm.
dropped to 4. And
Got it.
then they sprung a surprise on us at closing in San Diego and said, "We're adding Denver."
Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
And
that'll be super fun.
it will be, but it just made my fundraising harder.
Yes, because you have to raise a minimum of $2,300 for every walk you're in.
That's true, and that means
Yes.
a total of $11,500 for 2023.
Right. That's a good chunk of change.
It is a
Now,
lot.
how do you fundraise?
Well, I crochet. I don't know if you can see behind me these little
Uh-huh.
critters.
Yeah. Show us
Let's see if
one.
I can pull one up. This is Pinky.
That
She
is
goes with
so
Blue
cute.
Boy.
And sorry, Pinky and Blue Boy?
Yes, do you recognize that from there's um, a
Like,
famous, painting
Gaines
called Pinky and Blue Boy
Gainsborough.
that
Yes, yes.
and so
Gainsborough
I
or something,
that's why
yeah.
I call them that.
Okay. They're
Um,
super cute, and you hand crochet those?
I hand crochet those,
Mm,
and I ask donors to, send me a donation of $60 for one of these critters.
boy.
They range in prices. I have some smaller ones that might be a $30 donation. I have bigger ones that could be a $100 donation, but they're all donations.
Yeah.
I also take them to craft fairs,
Okay.
and I had a craft fair last Saturday. We'll have another one next Saturday where
Okay.
I just take all my goodies. I don't know if you can see the baskets on top there
Oh, yeah.
as well. I crochet those
Oh my
and just
gosh.
ornaments and just anything that I can do with a crochet hook, I
Right.
will do. And then I email everybody I know
Of course.
with what I call my begging letters. Please help me fund these walks. Here's what the money does.
Mhm.
And then a few weeks later, will send a reminder.
Yeah.
And then I'm on Facebook all the time,
Yeah.
reminding people I'm doing the walks, putting up
Yeah.
a picture of one of my critters or one of the items I make, and just saying, I need to do this.
Yeah.
So,
Fantastic.
yeah,
Fantastic. Well, you're changing the world, and at 80, 60, so you're doing 6 times 5 is what? You're doing 300 miles next year,
yeah,
just in the walk
yeah.
alone, and you're raising $11,000. I mean, that's phenomenal. How did you so you said you were a survivor yourself, and you started walking with your
With
niece?
my niece,
Okay.
in San Diego.
Okay.
And
And you just
I
got hooked.
it was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
a gorgeous walk.
Yeah.
San Diego was beautiful
San
anyway.
Diego's the
The
prettiest,
weather
yeah.
was lovely. So
Mhm.
I registered the next year for it again. And
Mhm.
then my fundraising kept on going. And I
Yeah.
said, maybe I can do 2.
Yeah.
And so my husband was shaking his head saying, we're going to end up paying this ourselves. I
Right.
raised enough for 2. I walked Boston and San Diego that year.
Oh my gosh, that's
It
great.
poured in San Diego. It
Uh-huh.
absolutely poured.
Yep, and it's rain or shine.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, you
yeah.
go. Well, yes and no. In Boston this year, we had a very, very bad storm right at the end of day 1, and they told us to shelter in place. So some of us were up
Oh,
the stairs against the door of a brownstone building waiting to get picked up,
oh
not
gosh.
happening. And then in Dallas, they cut the walk short because of a tornado possibility.
Oh, well, yeah.
So those will change things a little bit, but mostly it's 60 miles and you walk it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember, the last time I did it in San Diego, it was, kind of wet in the morning,
Mhm.
and I was still wearing when I was doing it, I was still wearing cotton socks instead of wool socks. Wool is they're so much smoother and they keep your feet warm when they're
Right.
wet and all that kinda stuff, and anyway, I was starting to get blisters, and it was only like an hour and a half into it. It was right before, Torrey Pines Hill.
Oh, you
Yeah,
don't wanna
and
do that in blisters.
I know, and I was just like, "Oh, I hate this, blah, blah, blah," you know, but, I was only doing 10 miles a day, my thinking is, I love to do, the most important part to me is doing the fundraising and not necessarily
Exactly.
walk, but,
Yeah.
you're really putting me to shame on this one. I mean, you've got 17 years on me, and and I'm walking half the miles that you're walking. Your husband, AKA Angel Bob,
Yes,
accompanies you
he
to some of the
does.
Komen walks. Tell me about what he does for you there.
He actually I don't see him very often on the walk himself because he believes that he's walking for all the walkers, not just me. And
Mhm.
he really wants to walk for those walkers who are having trouble, they're slow, they're at the end. He very often stays for the last walker. He gets
Oh
to know
gosh.
the person who is the caboose very well because
Oh,
he waves
yeah.
hi, and then he moves on to another spot.
Yeah.
He wears a pink outfit that, with wings, so he's known
Yep.
as Angel Bob,
Yeah, I
and
gave him plenty of hugs this year.
yes, and every time I go to a walk that he's not with me, I get told he needs to be there. He generally has a spot outside a pit stop, close to a pit stop, so
Oh,
people
sure.
know when they see him, "Oh, a pit is near,"
It is
and
close,
those
that's
pits
good.
are so important. We hate the porta potties, and we love the porta potties.
Yes, exactly, and the pit stops are great. We get a little something to eat and drink, a little protein, a little salt, a
Yes,
little potty stop, and yeah, and we head
and then
on.
onward for another 3 or 4 miles before we
Yep.
do it again.
Yep. That's amazing. Well, I have to tell you, I am totally in awe of what you're doing and how you're helping people like me and people like us, so that, the cure is closer at hand. And I'm going to be publishing your when you publishing your contact information and your fundraising link. So if people want to sponsor you, remember Shirley is raising over $11,000 for 2023. So please do support her fundraising, and we'll have another way for people to get in touch with you. So Shirley, tell me about your life before you were 80. I mean, yeah, I do know that you got a doctorate at in Spokane in the six.
Actually, Pullman in Washington State University in
Okay.
Pullman, Washington.
Yep.
Yeah. Uh, Before that, well, I was actually born in England.
Oh, okay.
My parents were Austrian refugees. My mother's side of the family was Jewish. My father was Catholic, and they were not supposed to get together.
Yeah.
So they went to England. My grandfather was Russian. He actually had tattoo on his arm because he got picked up. And my mother told stories of how she went to Nazi headquarters, got him out because he was days from being able to go to the United States.
Oh
So
gosh.
they went to the United States. Then it was 13 years because of the quota system before my parents were able to come, and I was 9 by then.
Oh gosh.
So that was my beginning, and we ended up in Peoria, Illinois,
Okay.
because that's where my grandparents were.
Mhm.
From there, when I got married the first time, we went to Boulder, Colorado, where he was working on his doctorate.
Mhm.
We got it. He went to Washington State University, where I said, "My turn,"
Yep.
and I got mine. And
In.
along the way, had a daughter.
Okay.
She's now 51. And along the way, also got a divorce.
Mm,
And
it happens.
it happens. And I say I got a good thing out of it, 2 good things,
Y-
a
y-
daughter and my doctorate.
There you go.
And then I met Angel Bob, and that's been 36 years ago.
Very good. And so what did you do with your doctorate? Did you
I taught at the actually I did some I was something called a linker that I was linking research with schools for a while, and then I
Oh.
taught at Lewis Clark State College in Lewiston, Idaho.
Mhm.
And then when I met Bob, I met Bob in a very interesting way. Went to Connecticut to take part in a children's litter workshop at the university, and had just learned to square dance, and took a map of where I was going to be and the square dance directory, and then started calling people to see if I could go dancing with anybody.
Oh my gosh. Just out of the
I
blue.
met him. He
Yeah.
said he'd take me to one, then he took me to several others, and 3 weeks later gave me a ring,
Oh
and we
my
got engaged.
goodness. That is crazy. That is
Yes.
that's a whirlwind.
And but then I'd been on sabbatical. I had to go back and teach for a year.
Okay.
So I went back and taught, and then I came out to Connecticut without a job.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I had several ideas of what I wanted to do, but I had a friend who was teaching at UMass who was going to go to the Ohio State, and
Mhm.
so I got a one-year position there.
Okay.
And then through someone who had been at the same workshop I had, got, a position at, Eastern Connecticut State University, where I stayed until I retired about 12 years ago.
Oh, very good, very good. And you and Bob still like to dance?
We still dance. We do choreographed ballroom, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
all
tell
of
me about
dancing with
that.
someone telling us how to dance, so a cuer giving us the choreography for each specific dance, so we
So
do a
it's
number
sort
of
of
different
like a
rhythms.
square dance caller saying do-si-do or Allemande left.
Exactly,
Okay.
and this one is saying, forward and run to or, spot turn or something.
Okay. Boy, so you have to think on your feet.
Have to think on your feet.
Yep. Yeah, literally think on your feet, and
Yep,
you're getting good exercise and you're having
we are.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are inspiring to me. I hope that when I'm 80, I'm as active as you are and, have your same amount of drive for the future. It's great.
People think I'm crazy for doing all this, but,
Oh, well,
they can think what they want to. I am that pink bubble from the 3-day is just so important.
it
Uh,
is. It is. And
yeah,
it's infectious, and it's really love-filled,
it
and
is,
and
and you don't walk
everybody.
alone.
No.
I have not always walked the same speed as some of my teammates, either
Yes.
faster or slower, but there's always someone to walk with and talk
Yes.
with and find out
Well,
their story. I mean,
like
here,
us,
we met on
right?
that hill, that horrendous hill.
We got on that hill, we were talking about our beta blockers and how it was gonna make it harder for us to work up a head of steam as we go up, and we figured we would pause in the shade and take rests when we needed to, and that's how we met, and I'm so glad that we did.
I am too. It was and we met this wonderful, interesting person at the top of the hill who wanted to interview us,
Oh,
and we have
that
no idea for what.
I know, that was interesting. It was a woman there were 2 women, and she kinda pulled out her little notebook, or
But she
actually a
didn't have a pen.
scrap of paper, and yeah, and she asked us questions and then walked off, and so we walked on our way, and
Yep,
we're like, "Well, I wonder what that was for."
yes.
Crazy, crazy. Well, I'm so glad to have had you on Defying Expectations Over 60. And as I said, I will be putting your contact information into we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we're live on LinkedIn. And so I'll put your contact information and your fundraising info on
I
all of those
appreciate that very
places.
much.
Yeah.
I get this kind of like, "Oh my god, I'm really gonna raise that much money?"
Yeah. That's a
And I'm
lot of
going
money.
to. Somehow or
Yeah.
other, I'm gonna raise that much
Well,
money.
you've already
I have
raised the
one
money for.
funded already, and
Yes.
I'm almost funded on a second, so I've got basically 3 more to go.
Yeah, that's
And
fantastic, and my
yeah,
husband and I just donated $100 towards one of your walks,
I
so
appreciate it.
yep, so that will help, and, everybody that's watching, if you're watching, on the replay, put a hashtag replay in the comments and let us know, and, Shirley's info will be out there by then, and feel free to support her, and, thank you for being on my show today.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you. I like new experiences. This is a totally new experience for me.
There you go. Yeah, there you go, and once it's out there, you can give the link to all your friends.
Thank you.
So everybody, that's been Defying Expectations Over 60 for Tuesday, December 6th, 2022, and I've got some great guests coming up. I won't be broadcasting, the week of Christmas, but otherwise I will, and I will talk to you next week. And, reminder that I have my new program, See It, Be It, about seeing yourself in this tremendous opportunity that we call the retirement years, and, it'll help you see yourself in that arena as being really successful and energetic, and then it will help you figure out how to be it as well. So let me know. Let's get on my calendar for a quick chat so we can talk more about that. My information is will also be in the comments. So thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.